Ladies and gentlemen, and this is the most prestigious awards of them all, True Facts Animal Awards, Best, Worst, Jumping and more. And knowing how every other awards in the world are going to shit, yeah, this is not that much of a joke, is it? This might as well be the most prestigious one. Alright, this is by the Charles of Frank, obviously. He used to be a Frank, now he's just a Frank. I guess he does that, right? He has made videos like this in the past where he, I guess, just sees other videos that he made and, takes out a point of it and create, I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be fun because it's a Frank video. Let's watch it.
This episode sponsored by Hunt a Killer. Welcome to the True Facts Animal Awards, celebrating animals with awards. Jerry, that didn't add gravitas. Whatever. In the category of Best Worst Jumping, there were quite a few entries. I mean, come on, it's not rocket science to be awesome at being terrible at jumping.
Oh, so it's best at being worst. I thought it was best / worst. We just didn't add slash. No, it's best at being worse. Okay.
In fact, rocket science would really screw you in this category. A notable entry was the globular springtail. It's a great launch, looks quite acrobatic, all tucked in like that, full rotations, and then he takes it right on the face. Look at him sliding away. Keep cool, they'll think it's on purpose. But if you want to win this category, you have to go up against frogs in the genus Brachycephalus. Look at it, it's not dead. I mean, these guys are famous for bad jumping. They're not happy about it. Some of them have glow-in-the-dark bones. Why not be famous for that? But the deal with Brachycephalus is that they really went all in on the miniaturization thing. They're f***ing tiny. Some of the smallest vertebrates on Earth. So bravo. But to get that small, there's sacrifices. They lost some toes and fingers along the way. There's a couple species that seem to have lost the ability to hear their own mating calls, which is a bit poetically heartbreaking. I mean, the deal is that some equipment just doesn't scale down all that well. In particular, there's this little organ that vertebrates have made of 3 loops that stick out in different directions. It's inside the ear. When accelerated, fluid inside those loops slosh around and trigger little sensory hairs, which help the brain figure out how to balance and maintain posture. Turns out there's a limit to how small you can shrink this before the system breaks down. So when they jump, their little bodies aren't getting information about what the hell's happening. So the best strategy seems to be stiffen up and stretch out. Staying big helps reduce the rotations. But it turns out that Brachycephalus isn't the only group of frogs that have a complicated relationship with the jump. First,
basically, we're witnessing evolution taking its course, right? This is how people talk about, natural selection. Like, what the fuck does that mean? That means 1,000 of them evolved, basically 99% of them, right? Or I don't know, 95% of them died out or something. Only 5% remain. That's natural. This is basically natural selection. It got smaller and smaller for defense purposes, I guess, and it becomes so smaller they can't even communicate that I'm fucking jumping. Mating call is not loud enough. Yeah, this species is not gonna survive, is it?
Remind ourselves what normal frog jumping looks like. This here is Bombina orientalis. A nice looking jump, and then the arms come forward to brace for impact, and the hind legs kind of follow through, the end result being that it's ready for the next jump very soon after landing. Alright, so you've seen how it's supposed to be done. Now there's a group of frogs in the genus Leiopelma that split off from other frogs about 200 million years ago. Let's take a look at their...
I'm imagining one of those movies, right? Like some underdog, some nerd comes along to compete, and there are this top-of-the-line athletes there. This top-of-the-line athlete right here.
Form. See if you can spot the difference. Wait for it. It's amazing. Here's another one.
Okay,
just
so that's
you don't
not an
think
athlete.
It's one drunk frog. Oh, that's a tough one. All right, you're probably wondering
there should be a sound effect
wrong
there.
With them. So it's thought that the taking off part of jumping evolved first, as an escape mechanism into water. The landing bit evolved later when frogs became more terrestrial. These old school frogs never really got into jumping, and never evolved a way to gracefully land. But still, no match for our winner, Brachycephalus. Next up, we have Best Animal Call, subcategory Clown Shoes. This one's the winner. It's perfect. In the category...
You know what the best part about that is? He had to find a clip where clown walks just at speed, just fast enough to match that rhythm. This is fucking ridiculous.
Nature photographer I want to party with. Ah, it's a pygmy yeti. I joke with you. It's a pregnant meerkat. But who decides to film that angle? Hold on, guys. There's a shot I gotta get. And the meerkat who's on the lookout chooses to ignore the weirdo lying beneath her, filming her crotch. Pygmy yeti. Hey, Tina, Lori, check... Oh, hey, Nancy. Guys, check this out. Ready? Hold on, I gotta... All right. Did you see it? What the fuck? How could you not notice that? Hunter Killer makes these
First one
immersive
kinda did, I
mystery
guess.
games. I recently played this one, Dead Below Deck. It comes in a box with tons of clues and a mystery for you to solve. In this case, it happened on a luxury cruise, and there was a dead body. Not in the box. They don't ship you a dead body. You can bring your own. Anyways, there's tons of clues and evidence, and you have to make timelines and crack codes. Had to figure out how to get into this thing, and no, I won't tell you what's inside. And that's not the combination either. Suck it. You and your friends get to be detectives, but it's not role play, unless that's your thing.
What is it, like
judgment.
glass onion
It's all
crab?
very realistic, and by the end, you know the suspects on a first-name basis. There's a whole bunch of different games to choose from, too, with different themes and different levels of difficulty. There's even multi-part games that unfold over a series of episodes. The bottom line is that it's a fun way to be with real people in a real place, doing something collaborative that only requires a sharp eye and a dash of clever. Head over to hunterkiller.com/ZayFrank. Use code ZEFRANK for 10% off your order of immersive mystery games today. I'm a fan and happy to have Hunter Killer as a sponsor. Where were we? Oh, right. In the category Fun Fashion on a Budget, the winners are leaf beetles in the family Chrysomelidae. Some of these baby beetles hold on to body parts that they shed in a molt. It's like wearing a coat made out of a sunburn peel. Others use their own feces to create a sort of defensive shield. It's like Captain America reimagined by a fetish pornographer. What? You want to see how it's done? Sure. This is the larva of a tortoise beetle in the process of adding excrement to those two things that sort of arch over its body, sometimes referred to as an anal fork, two words that should not be that close together. Anyway, these shields grow over time and you have to learn how to maneuver them. It's like trying to walk down Fifth Avenue with an umbrella. This aphid's like, oh, that's a cool hat. Where'd you get? Oh, for the love of God. You're wearing And you can imagine that once this becomes a fashion trend, everyone wants in, tries to outdo each other.
That thing's like, oh, you're a weird
It gets
guy.
a bit out of hand, to be honest. Really smacks against most of the current conventions in fashion. I mean, there are some classier presentations. Hemispheriata cyanea, for example, creates a fecal thatch, which looks like a pile of shoestring potatoes I'd be happy to have.
Talking like this to the thing is like this is not this is like beyond convincing. It's like, bitch, we're trying to survive here. Screaming.
Next to my ribeye. The larva is hidden underneath it, and it creates those long strands of feces using what is called an anal turret. And look at that, its anal fork is actually a stack of anal forks from its former bodies. But beetles in the genus Neoclamyces went all in on this strategy of
Always
looking
a
like
butt
crap.
joke.
This right here is a mummy beetle, and she's laid an egg underneath a leaf. Then she carefully encases it in a little onesie made out of her own feces. When the egg hatches, the larva emerges, but then it flips over and carries its mummy's poop house on its back. But the larva needs to grow, so it starts to add its own feces to its surroundings. How does it do that? Well, they figured that out. To see where the poop was being added, a science hippie painted that little turd hat. A few hours later, you can see where the new stuff was added. Keep doing that over and over again, and you can put a little element of surprise for the kids on Easter morning. Anyway, this goes on until they pupate inside of a ball of their own crap. And what emerges is a...
All right. Oh, okay. All right, seriously, that's so fucked up, right? It does that to create a defense mechanism and also somewhat of a camouflage in a way. It's, black or whatever. The science we literally painted like a rainbow color, right? So every predator in the world is like, oh, look at that, target that one. It's just like big, target sign.
warty leaf beetle. And warty leaf beetles have evolved to mimic caterpillar poop. Here, can you tell which one's the beetle? You can't, because they hide their arms and legs like little transformers. Except they don't transform into cars, they transform into Here, you can see the little antennae peeking out. I know what you're thinking. There must be a lot of caterpillar poo if things evolved to look like it. Well, unlike the beetles, the caterpillars want nothing to do with their excrement. This right here is a skipper caterpillar, and it's just about to poop. Ready? It's like a magic trick. I mean, that clown would get arrested, but still. For years, it was assumed that the poop was sort of flicked by something called an anal comb. It turns out this structure is more of a latch, allowing blood pressure to build up behind it and to form an anal plate. Enough pressure and the latch trips, and the whole thing sort of pops off like a tiddlywink. And they figured some of this out by painting spots on the butt of a caterpillar and then seeing how the paint was transferred to the poop pellet. It's what happens when your parents don't let you go to art school. Sharpshooters in the family Cicadellidae have a similar thing going, except with urine. They eat plant juice, which is essentially 95% water. And that means they have to pee a lot. A lot. Like 300 times their body weight. And you want to put some distance between you and that puddle. So they have something called an anal stylus, which has some hard parts to it and some springy parts. They squeeze out a little droplet onto that stylus, and then the stylus springy parts load up like a spring. And then pop, the whole thing goes off. The cool thing is that the water droplet moves faster than the stylus flicked. And that's because the sharpshooter takes advantage of the fact that water droplets can act like little rubber balls. If you accelerate them just right, the droplet will have time to compress and expand, exerting an additional force on the pushing surface. And this allows the droplet to fly faster than the flicker flicked, which is great because it gets the pee far away, and it also requires less energy from the sharpshooter compared to peeing in a stream, not in a stream, like in the form of a stream, like we do it, unless you do it different. No judgment. Finally, in the
Seriously, the evolution every time just surprises me. Like, body evolved at a point where it just knows that, water droplet acts like a, rubber ball, basically, compresses and everything. So, based on that, evolved to just, evolve a mechanism based on that. This is fucking ridiculous. Every time I hear about how, something evolved from this, using all the different type of physics, it's like, holy shit, how complex this process is.
Category of most creative home security system, the winner is this Asiatic honeybee, Apis serrata. These bees have a problem. Their hives often get attacked by groups of these giant hornets, so they decided to do something about it. Here's one of those bees out on a big pile of animal feces. I know what you're saying, so what? Everyone's got their thing, but this bee is collecting that feces. Here, you can see one with a little nugget tucked between its mouth parts. It's not just that one either, they're all doing it. And so what happens is they bring it back to the entrance of their hive and do a little plastering job. Lo and behold, if you smear a bunch of shit around your doorway, you get fewer visitors. It's brilliant. I'm sure they laughed at the first bee that came up with it. Benny, what you doing there? Sorry, I can't understand you, Benny. Your mouth is full. All right, I'll leave you to it. Okay, Benny? Weirdo.
Brilliant. Humans should do that. You'll have much less visitors. Smear some shit at the front of your door or whatever. Oh, this is ridiculous. Oh, God. Is there anything more? Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, here comes one. Bulba, buggity bulba. Oh, shit, it's Helen. Hi, Helen. You wish you had my tits. Bulba, buggity bulba. Yeah, that's right. Keep walking, you stuck-up, full of yourself. No, I'm not saying anything.
What is this Family Guy episode? I love it. Well, that was True Facts. Animal Awards best at worst jumping and more. Yeah, this was some fucking... You should do more things like this. Obviously, he makes great video about explaining biology of a creature, basically. But you should do, special videos like this more and more, where he talks about different features of different things. And yeah. Well, I guess I'll see you next time.